Find your path with the knowledge of others and become an illuminator for those who struggle. Guide their way just by being true and being in alignment, because it comes naturally to you. On self-discovery wisdom, we share to find inspiration with lessons for millions. We hope you listen.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Building Your Business right here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. I'm your host, Sara Dory, and my guest today is Ashley Huegi. We're going to be talking about things like, she's a keynote speaker. She's a founder of The and Life and the vice president of growth and impact and GoBundance, not abundance, GoBundance women. And we're going to be talking about kind of burnout and how to build success and check those boxes. She says she was born from burnout. She followed the rules, built success, and checked those boxes, yet felt very disconnected from herself, her family, and life. And she was working so hard to build it. Through that breaking point, she discovered that success without alignment quietly erodes our joy, health, and sense of self. Today, her purpose is to help women remember why they are, who they are, rather, beneath the hustle, reconnect with what really matters, and build lives and businesses that they feel grounded in, meaningful, and whole. She believes women never meant to choose between ambition and presence. We are built for both. She's a keynote speaker, and she's a mom of two. She helps ambitious women scale businesses without sacrifice of their health, their families, or identity. And after experiencing that burnout firsthand, she now teaches that alignment-first approach success, guiding women to grow with clarity, resilience, and purpose while creating a legacy that they're proud to pass on. She has an awesome free gift coming up in a way of a couple of books, which we will talk about later. But burnout, well, I don't think there is a woman alive that hasn't gone through burnout somewhere along the line, right, Ashley?
Oh my gosh, that is so true. I feel like I hear this as a repeating pattern all the time.
Mm-hmm. And you suddenly disappeared down.
Ooh, I shrunk. I shrunk.
I know. Yes, I've got a chair that every now and again it just goes slowly, and I just start sinking down.
You know what? I didn't sink down. This new Zoom camera, like
Yes.
I've noticed, Jeff's with me, so you may see me going up and down, and let's just pretend it's the energy that's keeping us going here.
Exactly. And that's kind of where that kind of pivoting instead of getting anxious about it is really, really important, isn't it? I think we get so stressed out where burnout comes about when we kind of worry about the little things and make those little things so big that they end up consuming us. And the next thing you know, they've gobbled us up.
Yes, that is so, so true. You know what's funny is like I spent over a decade building and running a boutique mortgage company, and I was coaching mortgage consultants on how to grow and scale their businesses, how to generate leads, how to think like business owners. At the same time, I was licensed, originating myself and having babies during all of those years. So life was very full. And from the outside, it really looked like I had checked every box of what success looked like. The business was doing well. I had flexibility. I had, again, created this life that really had checked all the boxes. From the outside. You would think that I was so fulfilled, but internally, I was really in this constant motion, always thinking about, like what's next, solving problems, caring. I like to joke, like we as women, we're like natural nurturers. We care and support for everyone else around us, oftentimes when we have a challenging situation ourselves. And honestly, what I picture myself most days is kind of like Cat in the Hat. Like we're just carrying, all of these different things, and it's ultimately going to come crashing down. And I think that this is really where a lot of women can relate. We become really good at managing everything, but managing everything isn't the same as being connected to your life. And that was for me. I had built what I had dreamed of and felt totally numb and empty inside. So what success looked like for me at that point was really output. It was how much I could get done. How much can I handle? How well can I keep everything moving forward without falling? And I really feel like what hustle culture has taught us is women really wear that identity well.
Mm,
I'm capable, I'm driven, but underneath, I was so bone tired in a way that sleep didn't fix. And I
yes,
think every woman can relate to that at some point in their life. And
the weariness.
yeah, the
Mm,
weariness and
mm,
the constantly feeling needed but not supported. And if
yes.
I'm being really honest, I built what success looked like on paper, but I said I was really empty inside. And not because anything was wrong, but because I had built it in a way that required me to totally disconnect from myself to sustain it. And I think that's really where we as women have a unique opportunity to kind of shift and recognize that this old blueprint of
Yeah.
what success looked like that's been passed down from
Yeah.
my grandmother, from my mom,
Yes.
is really outdated
Yes.
in terms of modern day women and the juggling that we have to do. And that's really what led me into this work around sustainable ambition and alignment.
Mm. I call it kind of heart and soul poor.
Yes.
True enrichment and abundance comes from
Mm,
doing something you really love, having the energy to do it, even when you're tired, because it means so much to you. And that energy will always be there to strengthen you, to fortify you on your mission. And because the heart and the soul is aligned and is with it, and it
yes.
resonates out when we're doing something from expectation or
Mm,
somebody's dictation. We become robotic in everything we do. We may look efficient and we have it all. And somebody say, "How are you?" "I'm fine," you know?
oh my goodness, I hate that. If ever anyone tells me I'm good or I'm fine, I'm like, okay, let's try that again. Like,
Yes,
how are you really?
right.
Like Jenna Kutcher says in her book, right? How are you really? Like, tell me about it.
Yes, exactly. And we're not taught to do that because nobody really wants to know how you really feel. We've all got
Yes.
our own stuff. Don't impose it on anyone else. But if we kind of said, you know what, I'm up the spout today. I'm just pissed off. I'm exhausted. I'm this and that. That just this love and support from someone else. I hear you,
Yes.
darling. Is there anything I can do? Or maybe I can't physically do something for you, but I'm just like, what can I do right now just to boost you up? And if we went back to community, if we went back to
Mm,
sisterhood, if we went back to supporting one another emotionally, right? We
yes.
wouldn't be so drained. We wouldn't be living up on this pedestal that somebody said that we have to be up
Yes.
on. We'd be honest. We'd come from the heart and soul. And what we would give out would be so much more enriching than this success label that has been imposed
Yes.
upon us.
Yes, and I love that so much. And you bring up such a great point that I also think we as women really struggle with is a lot of high achieving women don't ask for help
No?
because they've built this identity, right,
Mm-hmm.
around being the one who has to have it all handled. This idea, and I joke around like I'm a recovering perfectionist. I go
Mm-hmm.
in and out of rehab all the time on it. But, I think from that was what I was taught from the outside. Make sure you've got it all perfect. Be the capable one, the
Mm,
reliable one, the strong one. And if I'm being honest, there was a sense of pride in that, but there was also an immense amount of pressure. Because when your identity is really tied to carrying everything, asking for help feels really uncomfortable. And you have
exactly.
to learn to be comfortable with asking for help because the reality is trying to do everything alone is one of the fastest ways to really cap your growth and get to burnout. You hit a ceiling, right? Not because you're not capable, but because you're operating so at full or over capacity all the time.
What
And
is
for
fortifying you?
yes,
What's
exactly.
nourishing you? How can you be at the top all the time when you're running out of fuel? Emotional,
Exactly.
physical, spiritual fuel, right? Where's the balance in that? Where's where is, we have to compartment our lives. So there's the family lives, there's the business life, there's friends life, there's time and space for you. And if we don't
Yes.
learn to manage that, we go into this expectation. And I don't know how many people through the years, I've been just celebrating my 14th year doing this, of who have said, I reached the top, only to find out I was empty. I was
Yep.
alone. I hated what I was doing. Nothing felt meaningful. I felt poor.
Yes,
right?
those are the number two top challenging or challenges for women that are high achieving. They're burned out and they're extremely lonely. And I
Yes,
experienced that firsthand. And with running GoBundance Women, this mastermind that helps, highly ambitious female entrepreneurs who have built success really
yes.
grow in a more supported way. Those are the number two things they tell me every single time I get on a call.
Hmm.
I'm burned out and I'm really lonely. And I think that's really where we also need to make a shift. Like we're so used to having to carry everything and do everything ourselves,
Yeah.
but being in a room full of women who
Yes.
are building big lives, but doing it in a way that's supported, accountable, and aligned. It's not surface level networking. They're real
No.
conversations, real support, real accountability. And when you're in that
And
kind of
real
environment,
vulnerability, real
yes,
vulnerability.
yes, I love
Yes.
that. Yes, it's a safe place to be
Mm,
vulnerable, to be seen,
mm,
to be heard. And I think that was very eye-opening for me 3 years ago.
hmm.
I don't think I had ever asked for help, and I never really felt like I had a space to share
Mm,
what was really going on. And the second I entered that room and I was in this environment that normalized
mm.
asking for help and sharing, everything changed for me. My growth accelerated, my capacity
Yes.
expanded, and I stopped carrying everything alone. And that's really why I am just so passionate about helping other women, really give back these gifts that have been given to me. And I think that's what we're called here to do,
Yeah.
is just give
Yeah.
these gifts that have been, whether you believe they're divinely given to you or
Hmm.
not, really designed. Like that is what I get excited and wake up to do every day, is just go help other women know that
Hmm.
it is okay to ask for help. And the more authentic and vulnerable you can be, the better things are going to be when you're able to share.
It's a different resonance. When
Yes.
you're willing to share your struggles,
Yes.
where you've got blocked, that resilience, but you're sharing it.
Mm,
It's like somebody else that says, I resonate with that, or this is what I did, give it a try, or I understand that, and it's that sense of you're not alone. I've got another genre called the sisterhood of common sense love and all the men that love and support them.
I
And it
love
really
that.
is about that sisterhood and brotherhood too for the men that really
Yes.
support the women. But women that come together, not in competition, not in comparing, but there to support one another lovingly. Your success
Yes.
is my success. Your triumphs are
Exactly.
your struggles are my struggles. We are there for each other. We're building a community, an umbrella, each with our own, well, I call it the orchestra, each with your own beautiful instrument.
Yes.
You can go it alone and you can play beautifully. But when you come together with the orchestra, each in your own strength, and you play harmoniously together, you become transcendent. And the
Mm,
more you build that orchestra around you of people where you've got the same synergy, the same beautiful vibe, the same mission, and you support each other, everybody gets a chance to be the soloist, right? But
exactly.
it's about
Exactly.
that depth of the orchestra and
Mm,
how transcending it can be because of each other's strength and because of each other's support. And I think we need to get
exactly.
back to that.
Exactly. And that, gosh, I'm going to steal that if that's okay, Sarah, because
Yes.
that was just so beautiful. And it really is this collaboration over competition. And if you
Yes.
look back historically,
Hmm.
thousands of years, women were in tribes. They
Yes.
were in tribes, knitting together,
Hmm.
cleaning, cooking, whatever it may be.
Birthing,
It was
everything. Yeah.
everything. They
Hmm.
did it in community.
Yes.
And this beautiful part about sisterhood where you feel seen, you feel heard, you feel understood. And sometimes for me, like I don't necessarily, sometimes I can't think of something that I really need help with, but just being in a space where women
Yeah.
are sharing what they need support with and they're being vulnerable, I can relate. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I just felt so seen and
Mm.
so heard. I didn't realize that
Yeah.
I was maybe internally struggling with that. And, sometimes we're one resource or connection away
Yeah.
from really changing our lives, changing the game for us or moving the
Yes.
needle. And it's just, again, this I really see it as the greatest leadership asset is asking for help. It's not weakness. And that's really been a
No.
big shift for me, is
Yeah.
okay, I am not weak. This is true leadership and I am asking for help and I am receiving an open to all of the other gifts. And how good does it feel when you
Oh,
can help
yeah.
someone, right? So
Yes,
how
absolutely.
great does it feel to just
Yeah,
give when you don't ask for help, you're depriving somebody of an opportunity
exactly.
to love and
Exactly.
support you.
That is such a huge point. I was a person that didn't ask. I was the person that was there for everyone else. I'm a recovered people pleaser.
Oh,
Right.
yes.
Yeah. And I was there to help everybody with what they needed. Come to
Yes,
Sara. I'll be there the best I could be to help you with what you need, even if I'm dragging myself there because I'm so
exactly.
depleted, right? And like
Right.
Sara asked for help. Oh, no, 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 because, and in a lot of ways, people looked at me and go, but Sara doesn't need help. She's got it all together. No, I
Yes.
don't. I need help. And it took me a long time, not only to ask for help. There was two factors in this. If I ask for help, then I'm going to owe somebody, right?
Right.
All right.
Right.
And
Oh,
that
I never
was
thought about that.
right. It's like, well, they're going to expect something in return, right? I give without expecting in return, but they're going to want something in return. Can I give it?
Yes.
Can I give it? So therefore, I should
Yes.
accept it. And the other is that, but no, I'm a giver. I shouldn't be a
Mm.
receiver. But if I'm not a receiver, how can I carry on giving?
Mm.
Right. And it was a hard lesson for me. I call it the nudge, nudge, wink, wink, or the cosmic two by four. Right. We all get the nudge, nudge, and the wink, wink, and we don't pay attention. The cosmic two by four comes along. And when we're flattened, we're coming out of those ashes and we're reborn again. That's when we need to have our checks and balances in place.
Yes.
This is the opportunity to now really get out of ego or get out of fear or
Yes.
get out of society's dictation of what you should be,
Mm.
and really go into your heart and soul,
Yes.
into that wisdom, into that heart love, into that knowingness. I'd say, navigate my path for me, show me
Right.
my way forward, but it has to be heart and soul centered.
Yes. And I resonate with that so much. And I feel like if we as women really led with that,
Yeah.
the world would we would be able to make so much impact if we made that decision every day to lead that way. I mean, the world needs a giant hug. It needs
Yes.
more regulated
Yes.
women in leadership positions that are
Mm.
able to instill this change. And the world needs the heart and soul. And I love that you said that so much. And honestly, what really has drawn me to this podcast. And you know what, one of the things that you brought up too is we've normalized this
Mm.
burnout piece so much, and we
Mm.
almost as women kind of wear it as a badge of honor. We
Yes.
Yes, we bond over how busy we are, right? Like I
Right.
hate the word busy. I
Yes.
choose to say full instead.
Mm.
But we joke about being exhausted, but underneath that, so many women are living in constant time scarcity. And
Mm.
I think that's another important aspect about burnout and being able to choose to lead a life in alignment with your priorities and your vision. You know, we're always rushing, always
Hmm.
on to the next thing, always feeling like there's more to do, then there's time to do it. And we've all
Exactly.
been given the same amount of time, right?
Exactly.
We've been programmed to believe that this is just what it takes, that the success equals this hustle and this burnout, that the grinding is the path. And so we constantly override our needs. And like you said, we ignore the checks and balances, we
Yes.
ignore the limits, we disconnect from ourselves and we call it ambition. But what's really happening is we're building lives and
Mm.
businesses while being completely disconnected from ourselves. And that's just not sustainable. At some point, like you said, the two by four comes
Yeah.
along, something starts to give. So the real question isn't how do I do more? It's how do I build in a way that actually supports the life that I'm trying to create?
Efficiency, not more.
Yes,
Mm.
yes, because success without sustainability will always lead to burnout.
Yeah.
It just will.
One of the lessons I've learned 30 years ago, I mean, I had an abundance of divine energy, never physical energy, but divine energy. And my energy
Mm,
would just purpose be a bit too much for most people. And then just the right enough for someone who needed it. And so 30 years ago, I was given fibromyalgia. And that is
mm,
something that kind of, biggest thing about fibromyalgia is weariness, fatigue. You're
yes.
constantly in that, and then the pain level, and it's a hypersensitivity where your nerve endings are constantly in high alert, high frequency, and I kind of like why have I got this, and how it came about is another story. But one of the things I've learned to understand with it, I've made it my partner. It's my checks and
Mm,
balances partner. And it's saying to me, you've only got so much energy, right? You've got to decide where your energy is going. And it's okay to say no. And like
yes.
around February, unfortunately, I have three beautiful, gorgeous grandchildren. But every time they get sick, pick something up from daycare, they love to share it with grandma.
Of course.
But whereas they bounce back 24 hours later, grandma becomes flattened. And we
Yes.
went through a particular illness that really, I'm sure it was COVID based because it flattened all of us. And for me, it took about 2 or 3 weeks to come out.
Yeah.
And during that time, yourself included, people were postponing their shows, right? And so basically,
Right.
the universe was saying, it's okay, I'm going to give you less on your plate so you can have
Mm,
more time to recover. So when things happen, we've got to understand, is it in our best interest? It may not look like it at the time, but
right.
when we're kind of then taking that time for ourselves or to do something else, it's like, no, this was the gift the universe gave you. And
Yes.
we've got to pay attention that if I don't pay attention to my partner and I overdo it, it will flatten me. And no argument, I can't rise. I'm flattened, right?
Right.
But if I pay attention and we work together, we can do some wonderful things because I've learned how to use time more wisely, more
Exactly.
efficiently. Right. So it isn't about piling more on or doing more or showing the world, look at me, I'm doing 30 things at once. It's about how efficient are you in one or two things that you do exceptionally well, that you're proud of,
Yes.
that you love doing, and that really benefits people. And where is the time for you to
Yes.
rejuvenate, to come center, and to fortify yourself so that beautiful divine energy can go out and be shared
Yes.
with everyone else.
Exactly. That's such a great point. Burnout is really not the price of success. It's a
Yeah.
signal, like we're talking about.
Yes.
It's feedback that something is out of alignment.
Hmm.
And I think so many women have been conditioned to just ignore that signal, right?
Yeah.
To just push through. And it's something to really listen to. And I would say that I was somebody a couple years ago that just pushed through it and pushed through it and
Yeah.
pushed through it. And burnout doesn't happen just overnight, right? It's not this thing that just happens. It takes time, and
Mm.
it's the constant ignoring and not listening to the
Yes.
signals. And then when you get to the other side of that awareness, when you're aware of it, you can choose to build in a different way, a way that's more sustainable, that supports your life and utilizing the beautiful gifts
Mm.
that you've been given. And you realize that you don't have to prove your worth. Somebody once told me
Yeah.
you don't have to prove, explain, or justify. And I
No,
say that to myself all
no.
the time. Yeah, Ellen Leans, Dr.
Popeye, I
Ellen
am what I
Leans.
am.
I am what I am,
Yeah.
and I don't have to prove, explain, or justify my worth to anyone. I get to choose. I only get
Yes.
this one life to live,
Yeah.
and I get to make a choice. If I feel like the thing about balance too, right? It's kind of just a myth. And that's really where I think I used to chase this idea of balance, and honestly, it just made me feel like I was failing at everything
Hmm.
because it's not evenly split. I like
No.
to think a bit about it as alignment now, and that's really what we're
Yes.
talking about. And
Yes.
alignment for me is asking, does my life reflect what matters
Mm.
most to me in this season? Not
Mm.
perfectly, not equally, but
Mm.
intentionally. And there are seasons where, business requires more of me. There are
Hmm.
moments where my family needs more of my time.
Right.
But I give myself permission so I don't feel like I'm in this constant internal tension anymore. Sure, there are
Right.
going to be seasons when that happens, but I'm aware of it. And because I'm making decisions from clarity instead of pressure.
Mm.
Like I've removed the pressure from
Yes.
that. I get to make decisions from clarity. And that is a huge part of alignment and something that I think is really overlooked. It's learning to invest in yourself, right? And so many
Yeah.
women, this really gets into, again, the conditioning that we've been taught generationally. And
Yeah.
I love my grandmother and my mother, but they were conditioned in the 1950s and what was normal for them. And
Yes.
so many women invest in their businesses, their families, everyone
Mhm.
else, right? Like just like you just said, you were the recovering people pleaser. You
Yeah.
just said yes to
Yeah.
everything. But we choose, why do we say no to ourselves? And
Hmm.
that's really where things start breaking down. And because you are the foundation. And I think that is a shift that I had to make. I realized, okay, I am the foundation of my family. I am the foundation of my business. Shoot, I am a foundation in my community and the PTA and the school. And
Mm,
as soon as you understand that, your energy, your mindset, your support systems, those shift and determine really how you show up everywhere. And
mm.
this is also something that we really focus deeply inside of Go Abundance Women is really this holistic approach to abundance in all areas of life.
Yes.
What is the point of scaling and building if it means we're sacrificing what
Yeah.
matters to us, whether, our health, our
Mm.
relationships, our joy, our sense of adventure, our family, whatever it may.
Wonderment. Mm.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
And it's really about building a life that feels aligned while you're doing it in all of those areas. And that's the goal, right? So we can experience, we can feel joy in all of those things.
I say when you're aware, you care. When you
Yes,
care, you do something about it, but you can no longer be unaware,
yes,
right? And awareness is something that each day you become aware of something new, or aware of a practice that maybe you're doing that you need to change, or
right.
aware of this person's not serving me, or I'm not serving this person. And there is no one size fits all. There is no, I'll make you six figures in this, I'll do this. We don't need hype. What we need is rhythm, right?
Yes,
That equilibrium you talk about. Look at our DNA, it twirls. Look at our blood, look at our oxygen, look at our, chi, energy. Everything has to
yes,
be in flow. And when you get into the rhythm of our own flow, our own signature, we
yes,
can take those pivot highs sometimes where we're demanded more. And it isn't a crash down. It's a gentle down, and now the next rhythm is going to be a little more smoother before we can go up again. But it's something we can manage because we know we're in our rhythm signature. And we need to understand what our rhythm signature is to
mm,
know how far we can go and say yes and when to say no.
yes. I love that. That kind of leads me to like what we talk about is this flow of abundance, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the biggest shifts I think I made in my life. And it's something I see with so many high achieving women is understanding that abundance isn't something that you chase.
No.
It's something that you allow. And for a long time, I was really operating from this force, like more
Yes.
effort, more control, more pushing, more yeses to kind of create these results. But I didn't feel abundant. I didn't have a rhythm. It felt heavy. It felt, tight. Like if I think about it now, I'm starting to feel it
Yeah.
in my chest as I'm thinking back about what it felt like.
Yes.
We carry it. And when you can flow of abundance really happens when you move out of that survival mode that I think we're kind of talking about and
Yeah.
really into alignment. When you're not constantly gripping for control, when you don't feel it in your chest, when you can build from clarity and
Yeah.
trust and support and have this flow and this rhythm that really supports your vision, your goals, your business plans, your
Your
family
life.
plans. Yes, and that's really this piece of the and life that I
Yeah.
love talking about so much is we get to make a choice. We can be fully present for our
Mm.
family and we can hold ambition to build something and to leave an impact and a legacy. And it comes from being in the right energy, the right environment, and the alignment that we're talking about right now. It looks like receiving and allowing support, right? It looks like delegating. Don't even get me started. Like delegation is one of the biggest things
Oh,
that women come in and
yes.
ask me about too, is this
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
piece
Yeah.
about delegation. And I think I learned that the hard way because I was just
Hmm.
somebody that wanted control, or I felt like it was really a limiting belief that I had that I
Exactly.
could do it faster, I could do it better
Yes.
if I let
Just do it
control.
myself. Yeah.
Yes, and that's one of the biggest things that, women, when I talk to women, because I get to have these really amazing conversations every day, but that's one of the biggest things that they come in looking for help is how do I delegate? Because that's one of the biggest shifts that you can make too when you're aware and it's one of the biggest things that's really misunderstood too, and honestly underutilized skills
Right.
is because a lot of us don't struggle with ability, we struggle with control. We've been the ones who have to figure it out, the ones who have to make it happen and hold everything together. We think I could just do it faster. It won't be done the way I want it. I've
Right.
learned this with my husband, who He is an amazing human being, but I felt bad. I didn't like the way he loaded the dishwasher. He
Hmm.
didn't load it my way, right? And
Right.
so I refused help. And then I conditioned him to not load the dishwasher
Right.
because it wasn't
Exactly.
up to my standards.
Yes.
But now I just make a choice. Okay, the dishes still get done. They're still going to get
Right.
done, and I'm accepting help, and he's happy to help me with that.
Yes.
And I'm happy I don't have to do it sometimes, right? But it works until it doesn't. And when that happens, you kind of become the own bottleneck in your own business or in
Right.
your own life. And we talked about capacity, like our growth gets capped at your
Mm,
capacity. If your capacity is maxed out, there's nowhere else to go. So for me, delegation became less about offloading tasks and more
mm.
about reclaiming my energy and my gifts.
Yes.
And if it was a mindset shift from I have to do everything to I need to be focused on the things only I can do with the gifts God has given to me. And
Precisely.
that changed everything because when you start delegating intentionally, you create the space, right? You increase your capacity. You start operating like a leader instead of an operator in
Yeah.
every area of your life. And I always say delegation isn't just a business strategy, it's really a life strategy. Like I said, it looks like more support at home. It looks like
Mm.
asking for help with your kids. It looks like outsourcing things that drain you, like, shoot, maybe I should outsource having somebody do laundry because I know I procrastinate on the laundry all the time until my kids absolutely need clean underwear.
Mm.
So it's not because you're not capable, right? It's
It's
because
because your time is more important somewhere else. Yeah.
exactly,
And
exactly.
there's
And
a point.
that's
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say those are the women who really can scale the fast and
Yeah.
sustain it the longest, are the ones who learn how to let control and really step into that piece of leadership.
There's a couple of things I want to hit on there. I'm a true colors coach. They're the four key personality traits, right?
Yes, I love it
And
so much.
the thing is if you're in business, you want to find people that their business and their strength is one of those other personality traits,
Yes,
right? And you know that you kind of form of umbrella. And when you need X, Y, and Z done, you know that that person can do that. And when they need something, they know that you can do that. And there's a cross pollination all the
yes,
time. It's less burden on you trying to do something that you weren't designed for, and more reaching
exactly.
out to someone else where this is your strength and they give you their strength. And then therefore you've got a conglomerate that is
Yes,
abundant. All right. And that
yes,
means whoever you're serving as a customer, it knows not just getting you, but getting your umbrella of people, each in their own strength. And if we stop competing and comparing and start collaborating cohesively, we will understand how that empowers all of us. Right. And as far as
yes,
delegation is concerned, that's part of delegating. This is your strength, not mine. That's part of delegating. But it's okay, especially your kids, to give them a job. It's
yes,
okay to say this is your responsibility, your accountability, because everybody needs to learn that. We all have
exactly.
responsibility and accountability. And it's also okay, I entertained a great deal when I was married. And, whether it's 8 people around a dinner table or 40 people coming over, I would do, around the dinner table, I would cook it. But when it came to bigger things, it's potluck. Right. And
Right,
it's like
right.
everybody bring a dish. I would do kind of some main foundations and everybody brings something. And it's okay to delegate. It's okay to say, I can't do that with your kids. I had a wonderful
Yes.
girlfriend. I would take her kids for the weekend. And she would take my kids for
Oh,
the weekend where you'd have that space to be just a
yes,
husband and wife again, right?
yes,
And the thing is, it's okay to ask. Stop trying to be it all. You're not meant to be it all. What is your God-given gift? What is
yes,
your strength? Step up in that and then find your vibe tribe where you can
yes,
work together to be that awesome foundation and umbrella that will then serve everybody. That takes the weight of you trying to be everything you're not. I do wear all the hats in my business because I'm a solopreneur. And
yes.
there's a few hats that are very wobbly, right? And I've learned to, some people have offered their help along the way, and it's bless you. I am 71 and I do everything myself, all the techno, but sometimes I get into something. What the hell are you talking about? Chat's become a very good friend because it helps me through a lot of
Yes.
those type of things.
Yes.
But it's learning to ask for help. It's learning to say, this is not my strength. It's learning to say, I would love to serve you, but I know so and so can serve you better in this aspect.
Yes.
It will always come back to you in some way or form. The other factor is, if you ask yourself this question, if you would do it for free,
Mm.
would you? It's yes, we all need to get paid. Let's take that out of the question. If you're so driven by what you do, you would do it for free, then
Yes.
and it comes from the heart, and that the conviction, the soul and spirit alignment is all there, then you're in the right arena. If you're doing it out of expectation or because you're really good at it, but you're not really connected to it,
Yes.
then it's time to take those beautiful skills and transfer them to something you really love to do. And you may
Yes.
have to dive into a few experiences before you find that one that ignites and goes, oh, hallelujah. I love
Exactly.
this, right? I love
Yes.
this. But if it's not coming from the heart, don't do it because you're not serving anyone.
You're not, and it just feels forced. And
Yes.
that I love that you mentioned that too, because one of the things that people say is like, what is my purpose? I'm like,
Hmm.
well, I can't answer that for you, but here's what
No.
you can do if you're struggling, because that was me 3 years ago. I
Mm.
was in this transition. I knew that the mortgage industry wasn't for me. I adored serving and helping people, but I just felt called for more, and I
Mm.
just felt really out of alignment. I procrastinated. That was
Yeah.
one of the biggest things too that I noticed about
Yeah.
myself is I am not a procrastinator, but I was starting to procrastinate on things
Hmm.
because I didn't find joy, and
Yeah.
it took extra energy for me to do those tasks instead of the
Because there was no
natural.
heart in it. Yes. Yes.
Exactly. So one of
Yes.
the things that somebody told me to do is what I do now with a lot of women is I call it a clarity break. And a clarity break is you basically document all of the things that you are doing, and it sounds tedious, but like every hour you're documenting all of the tasks that you're doing in your business. And then at the end of a couple days, it's really ideal if you could do it for a week, but I know not everybody has that patience level. But after a couple days, you go through and you sort, and it tells you, okay, for this task, did I love it and am I good at it? Do
Yeah.
am I not good at it? Do I not like it? Am I good at it but don't enjoy it? And you can
Yes.
start to see a pattern of the things that you're really good at
Mm.
and the things that bring you a lot of joy and energy. And so that was one of the things that I did when I was making that pivot is, oh, this is really great. Ashley really likes this creative piece,
Mm-hmm.
this warm conversational piece. Okay, I'm going to keep that and
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to run with that. And I'm going to find somebody else, like you said, that has
Mm-hmm.
their skills and gifts that they enjoy these things. And I made a job description for it and went out and hired somebody to do all those other things because that wasn't my skill or gift, right?
Exactly.
And so
Exactly.
that's like a really basic activity for anybody that is listening. And they're like, I don't know where to start. Start with the clarity break. Just list all your tasks, all the things that you're doing, and then go back and evaluate it. See it if you're good at it and you enjoy it, you'll start to see a pattern of those things that you're good at
Exactly.
and enjoy, and you can start building something off of that.
I've literally had people who have been rocket scientists, right?
Yes.
Nuclear whatever scientists, engineers, completely totally different field,
Yes.
right? But what they've done is the skill of what they did before, the structure of what they did
Yes.
before, the ability to see things in a different way, they've now brought to something they're really passionate about. We
Yes.
never dismiss what we've done before. What we do is reconstruct it to serve us in something
Yes.
that we're more heart connected to.
Mm. That's so true. Yeah, the person that got me
Mm.
here, I thank her for it.
Yes,
She got me here, but she is not the person that's going to carry me to the next stop. And that's
exactly.
okay to understand and to recognize. You can be grateful. Thank you for serving me.
Mhm.
Thank you for these gifts. Thank you for the experience. And now I'm going to go and build something over here.
Right, exactly. And don't be afraid to have experiences. I
Yes.
mean, I'm a person that I'm doing my decade thing right now, where somebody said to me, "Oh, do you realize 71 is 7 decades?" Now, I did write my own book a couple of years ago. It's up there. But she said, "Why don't you revisit every decade?" So I've been doing a podcast every week, and I'll do it for 7, revisiting every decade. And I think that sometimes we need to look back and be reminded, oh, I was so joyous in that when I was
Mm,
doing that. Or that, how did I get into a rut here? What brought me here? Where did
yes.
my joy lose there? And that reflection, taking the time to reflect back and then go,
Yes.
why is I wasn't aware this was missing? Or like, why did I let that go? I used to love that so much. How can I reignite it, or can I transfer it into something different? But we need to revisit. And even when we're at a
Yes.
crossroads, it's and when I say to people when they're kind of on their people recovery or the this recovery, there's a crossroads will come up at some point. It's not to confuse you. This is the time to pause and reflect back.
Yes.
Look at how far you've come. Look at how far
Yes.
come. Look at who you are now as opposed to who you used to be.
Yes.
Then the road before you becomes so much clearer.
That is so beautiful. And I absolutely love your book. I mean, I am just so passionate, and I know we're talking about building businesses, but I love our forgotten children and really
Mm,
like what you said, this heart-centered,
yeah.
awareness-driven work that speaks, in any aspect of life, really. And I think it's so important too. We talk about nurturing ourselves, but it's also important to nurture our children. And
Yes. Yes. Yes.
emotionally, mentally,
Yes.
spiritually. And so we can create adults who are connected to themselves and know their gifts and have that sense of confidence that they can go out into the world and make an impact. And it's sad for me because I see I have a 4-year-old and an 8-year-old, and you can already start to see in
Mm,
children the ones that are disconnected and reactive and often living from this survival instinct instead of wholeness. And so, um, yeah, I mean, that's a whole nother conversation, but you mentioned your book and I just
yes.
absolutely love it.
Yeah.
And that is one thing that I
Thank you.
feel called to go and serve in the world. And the world needs to love on these children that need more support. And
Yes.
at it's their needs are very basic. They want to feel safe and they want to feel loved.
And they
And
want to feel accepted for who they are.
yes,
And
yes,
last week I had this show of Dr. Susan Blumberg, and we are talking about neurodivergency. And she,
mm,
has taken like all the coaching and everything else, but she's now formed a program that helps teenagers
yes,
understand their neurodivergency. It's not a
mm,
disability. You're just different in the way that you process things. All
right,
right. To embrace the gift that you are, but it's how to hone it in and focus it in a direction that serves you, but also for parents to understand. Stop
yes,
dictating your child must do this and must do that
yes,
and does do this. It's like, listen to who your child is. What is really their passion? Do they know it yet? How do you nurture it? How do you help them hone it in? And she has skills and
yes.
techniques able to, enable that. I have 3 children with ADD. I have ADD, right? It doesn't fall far from the tree. And it's like when I grew up, we didn't know about dyslexia and
Sure.
ADD, right? You were just a dumb kid. And then my kids grew up and it was Ritalin because you're
Right.
defective. And now we're looking
Right.
at and understanding this is where the creative process comes from, their
Yes.
ability to see things in a way, but it's how do you hone that focus in? And that's what we need to teach them of how to manage it in a way that they keep their creativity and they keep their
Yes.
individuality, but hone it in that is manageable for them and for people around them. And we've got to
Yes.
stop labeling our children this, that, and this and that. And the more we empower them to be who they are, accept who they are,
Mm.
but love who they are, and also to download God, universe, spirit, source, energy, whatever
Yes.
you want, to learn to download the wisdom, to listen to their core message, connect it with the
Yes.
heart, to trust the spirit in action, and to receive that clarity of mind. The
Mm.
more they learn to trust that, they're going to grow up to be that adult that will not be
Yes.
bullied, will know what to do
Mm.
with the bully, will stand tall in who they are. But this whole thing of that should, you
Right.
must, is what is being pushed against them. That's what leads people like yourself to burnout because you're living up to the
Yes.
shoulds.
Yes.
And not everybody recovers from burnout. Some people,
Right.
it breaks them so much they can never come back from it. Let's try and prevent it rather than
Yes.
trying to fix it later.
I love that. Yes, I am just, oh gosh, raising conscious,
Mm,
supported children, right, is really that's the whole goal. And that to me,
yes,
that's what legacy means for me
yes,
and that's not everybody's version of legacy, but for me, that is what my legacy is to raise whole humans who know themselves, know their gifts, have the confidence and the skills, the tools, the heart and compassion to go lead beautiful lives, not that are
mm,
full of performance because I see
yes.
a lot of high performers every day, and not that they cannot be high performers, but that should never be the pressure or the goal. The goal should just be to know who you are, to know that you have the support and love around you to go and do something beautiful.
We
And
don't want just you to be heard. We want you to be
right.
felt.
Yes,
We
yes,
want to feel the message, not
yes,
just hear words. We want
yes,
that message to connect because it's coming from the heart, soul, and spirit
mm,
of you. We want to resonate with it. We want it to
yes,
hit us in various parts of our body. And
mm,
we want to know and feel it. And you've got a lot of people that go and say, da, 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 da. They're grandstanders. They're saying the words. It's
yes.
become manufactured headliners.
Oh
But
my
where is the
gosh.
feeling? And then you have
Yes,
somebody that come up that is honest, that is maybe broken, that is
right.
that has put themselves back together as flawsome, all the beautiful pieces
Yes.
and intricacies that made them flawsome, and you feel them because they resonate and they show you how beautifully flawsomely awesome you are as well.
Yes.
It's that
Yes.
permission. It's that
Yes.
permission and to be who you are no matter what you've been through.
Yes. I love that. And that is what I would love to leave in this
Mm,
world is
yeah.
the permission for other women to choose that for
Yes.
themselves and to let the pressure go and to understand that they were beautifully created with all of their stories and their gift, their stories beautiful, the broken parts, the good parts, and that they can use that to go and create a legacy, whether that's in their family, whether that's in their communities, whether that's in their business.
Mm,
I mean, that is what we're called here to do.
yes.
And I
Yes.
get chills. I get chills every time talking about it because I feel a real sense of responsibility to ensure that other women have that space to be seen, to be heard, to be felt, and the same for children. Like I have a
Yeah.
huge heart for children, not just my own, but how can I make other children in this world who feel lost and forgotten and misunderstood feel more loved and supported
Yeah.
and and accepted with the gifts that they've been given to.
And we understand the more we support families, the more we support children, the more we support
Yes.
community, the more that we
Yes.
support growth.
Yes.
But there's something I want to ask you about the
Yes.
and life. Explain
Yes.
that.
So the and life was really born from my own story and experience where I felt like they were competing, like
Mm,
being having ambition, building a successful business, and being a fully present mom couldn't
right.
exist. And I choose to break and burn down the blueprint that was built for me
Mm,
and you build something new where both hold space for each other and actually when they both coexist, something more beautiful
yeah.
manifests and creates. And we talking about that ripple effect. I
Yeah.
get to raise children that know who they are, that have the confidence and love to go out and do something beautiful. I get to instill that in my
Mm,
community. My children will then raise children that are going to hopefully they'll have learned and they're going to choose the same path for their own children. And
yeah.
that's really
How we change society.
that's how we
Yes.
change it.
Yeah.
And that's the and life is I can make an impact and hold ambition and build this beautiful business and I get to raise and be fully present for my children and for me that's what matters most. And I get to they can coexist together.
Mm,
And when you accept that, that's the permission thing that we're talking
yes.
about.
Yes.
When you give yourself permission to let go and realize you don't have to prove, explain,
No.
or justify anything to
No.
anyone, that's where this beautiful coexistence happens. And for me, it's an energy that I carry with me
Yeah.
every day.
They
It's
either
a
feel you or they
choice.
don't feel you, and that's okay.
Yes, and that's
Right.
okay. I'm not
That's
for
okay.
everybody, and
Exactly.
everybody's not for me, and that's
Exactly.
okay. That's
Exactly.
okay.
You're going to be with the people that are on that same kind of frequency, or that you can
Yes.
feel the vibe and want to rise up to it. And that's what it's about. That's what GoBundance is about, is that is like in order to get into your abundance, you have to be willing to grow and
Yes.
also move forward. And that means you
Exactly.
have to look at your old patterns. Are that,
Mhm.
are they serving you? It's like you've always done it that way. My mother used to do it that way, but is it serving you?
Right.
Right. And it's like it's time to look at those old programming and old patterns and
Yes.
go, oh, I'm going to keep this one because this one's really good. No, 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 this one is obsolete. Just like we clear our computer and clear our phones, we've got to
Yes.
clear ourselves. And we have to
Yes.
insert patterns that keep us on that flow and
Yes.
on that frequency and allow us to grow to that abundance.
Yes.
And it's,
Yes.
but it is a mindful thing to do before to ignite the soul, heart, and spirit into its
Yes.
own natural flow.
Exactly. Your brain is really good at keeping you safe, right? It's
Yes.
what it's designed to do is to keep you safe. So it will make you stick to some of those habits and pattern
Yeah.
because it's what it knows. But when
Yes.
you're aware, like you said,
Right.
it's no longer serving you,
Yeah.
you can move forward and replace it with something better. So anytime I say, I just don't have time because I catch
Mm.
myself saying that I have just enough time to do the things that matter. And it's that shift. It's just kind of rewiring your brain and giving yourself these positive affirmations
Yes.
to break down that old wiring and choose something that is going to serve you. And it changes all the time. It's not you forever, right? The
Mm.
seasons of life change. And so in
Yes.
different seasons, I need different
Circumstances,
things.
life events, everything.
Yes,
And you
yes,
adjust so much more to what comes to you because you're more in
yes,
alignment and you're
yes,
more flexible. We don't want you to be a rigid branch that breaks under the pressure.
yes.
I'm a willow tree. I flow with that wind,
That's
right?
beautiful.
You know?
Yes, that's so true.
So how to be flexible, and don't be
Yes,
dictatorial. Allow, allow, allow,
yes,
and tap into that allow. What do you
yes,
know you feel from that allow and follow that path? Now, you've also got something that you're offering people. You have this wonderful offer of a complimentary clarity alignment resource designed to help women reflect on how they want to feel, live, and lead without burning out. And called the Master Abundance Playbook. So can you
yes.
explain to people how they get that? And you said you have more than one?
Yes, I have more than one. So the Master Abundance Playbook is carefully curated to help you align with your vision and your goals and identify any blind spots in some of those pillars that we were talking about, whether it's health, relationships. So I will actually just give you the links there and we can put it in the chat
Yeah.
after the show so that they can have that. I also have a business playbook that just goes a little bit more in detail. The Master Abundance Playbook is really more of this holistic approach that we were
Hmm.
talking about and helps you identify some of those things, where the business playbook just gives you a little bit more clarity and some of the action items. I think, what's the one action item that I could focus on today that's going to
Yes.
help me get to
Yes.
the next level? And that's
Change your
really what
pattern. Change your
change your
pattern.
pattern.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's
Mm.
really what it's designed to
Mm.
do. So I'm happy to give out both of those because I think that they're amazing tools and I revisit them regularly.
And that's the thing is first you've got to have that desire to want to change things, right?
Yes.
And then it comes to that question, but how and who can help me?
Yes.
And this is why,
Yes.
I'm saying listen to podcasts because there's somebody there that's taken the journey before you and they've
Yes.
now got the tools that you can apply. My mottos with these shows are listen, learn, and apply, right?
Yes.
And they have to apply it. But very often what gets people stuck is like, well, I'm aware I need to change, but I don't know how. Who
For
can help
sure.
me? And
Yes.
to admit that I am vulnerable to someone.
Yes.
And you don't want somebody, oh, I've got one size that fits all, and you'll be this and this amount of days, da 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 da, rah, rah, rah. No, we don't need rah, rah, rah. We need
Right.
enthusiasm. We need somebody that believes in us, but somebody that will go at our pace. Whether it's one step at
Exactly.
a time, or you know what, you've managed to do 4 steps right now, but maybe the fifth step you need to focus in on more, right? And
Right.
it's somebody that just kind of guides you, or the book that guides you on taking those steps. The biggest leap you will ever take is the first step. And that first
Yes.
step is realizing change is needed.
Yes, that's so true. And I think Denzel Washington says something that sticks with me quite often. You know, I think we're always so afraid to take that first step.
Hmm.
There's this level of fear that we're going to fail. But he says, if I want to fall, I want to fall forward, right? We don't need to fall
Yes.
backwards. Let's fall
Yes.
forward
Yeah.
into the next phase. We might fall. We're going to fall. I trip over rocks all the time and go down, but I know how to get myself back up
That's the
and
point.
make that next move, right? And the application piece is so part. It's just making that decision. Okay, I'm going to fall forward and I'm okay with that.
And look at a child learning to walk. How
Yes,
many times they're on their backside before they learn to, oh, I've got my balance now. And it's that
exactly.
trial and tribulation. Nothing happens. Oh, I stood up once and it didn't work for me. I landed back down again. What, you're going to sit on your bum for the rest of your life, you hope? Life is about trial and tribulation. And you have to be uncomfortable before you understand what comfortability is, right?
Yes,
And it's like I kind of look at it rebirthing yourself, right? You're
yes,
going through the gestation of creating yourself, and then you're actually going to give birth to yourself. And it might be a bit painful, but now this
right.
person on the other side is by your design, not somebody
Yes,
else's design. Now you can
yes,
walk forward into being the person that you truly are and not what
yes.
society has dictated you to be.
Mm,
It's worth the struggle,
it
not the
is.
suffering. It's worth the struggle because now you can step up in your own beautiful abundance and you can say, I am who I am. I'm proud of who I am, but I'm always in growth to explore
Yes.
what else I can be.
I love that. And we should accept that as just we
Mm.
should be ever learners and
For always,
forever, for
for always.
always. I
That's
can
what's that's
never, yeah, I
yeah,
can never not learn. And I
no.
think that's an important piece of being surrounded. If you're going to choose
Yes,
who, the who piece should reflect people that are also constant growers because it's just going to help shape. You're the average of the five people you spend the most time with. So why
exactly.
not support yourself and be around people that are constant learners and growers? I think that's one of the best things that you could do in making a
Absolutely.
decision with who, the who piece
Yes.
of that.
I say to people, have podcast party, just like you have book clubs, have a podcast club. Like when you share this out, invite your community to get together and listen, take
Yes.
notes, and then share those notes.
Yes.
Everybody got something different out of it. But when you all share it together, oh, I hadn't seen it that way. Oh, that's a good point of view. Oh, I learned
Yes.
this. And now we've expanded that out even
Yes.
more. Let's get to share what we learn. It isn't, oh, there is right or they're wrong. No, it's just a different perspective from where you're at right now. And the more we're
Exactly.
willing to look at the whole picture and everybody encompassing that, then we're actually realizing I've just shifted the way I look at things. That means I can actually allow myself to take a different path. And
Uh,
because somebody else has shown me a different perspective, it's again, please inject some wonderment into your life. Be
yes.
wondrous because that
Yes.
wonderment is always going to have you want to explore. Always believe you can. You don't
Yes.
know until you try.
That's 100%. We tell our kids that, right? You're never going
Yes,
to know until you try. But it's time
exactly.
that we learn, listen to our own advice and
Yeah.
inject that. I have to remind myself of that often because it's so easy to get caught up in the hamster wheel of life.
Mm,
But choosing to make that an important core value, when you recognize that and you call it out, it's so much easier to stay in alignment with that.
mm.
And that really is beautiful. I love the idea of a podcast party. I've
Yes,
never done it. So I'm gonna
right.
see, that's how this happens. You just
Yes.
gave me a beautiful idea.
There we go. And one of the big detriments in your life is complacency,
Mm,
right? And
yes.
complacency leads to apathy, and that apathy leads to a living death, right?
Yes.
So be careful when you've become complacent. Oh, it is what it is. Oh, I
Yeah.
can't be bothered. Oh, no, 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 no. You know that now you're actually on your way to living a living death because you're not
Yes.
ignited or connected to anything. You are all disconnecting. Again, we've got to be willing to be uncomfortable in order to get comfortable. And that comfortable is always in inquiry of what else? Who else
Yep.
can I be? What else can I try? Who else can I serve?
Exactly. I think that is so beautiful. And I just resonate with that so much because that was me. That
Mm,
was me. I became so complacent and
yeah.
it was so easy. I had it down, but I was totally burned out and I was
You were
empty.
robotic. Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
robotic. I didn't have joy. I didn't
No.
have that sense of wonderment. I just thought this is it for me. And then
Yeah.
I realized, okay, I've had enough and I'm gonna change this. This is not what success looks like for me. It may be what somebody else has on paper, but I've been there and it doesn't feel like
Right.
success at all. It feels totally empty.
I always say before people buy from you, whatever it is your business is, they have to buy you. And if you
Yes,
don't feel authentic and you're not coming from the heart and you don't love what you're doing, they're going to feel that and go next.
exactly.
So, whatever your business is, it must come from the heart and the soul. It must be something that is in service to that person because you feel it. That is what will open the door to whatever you're doing. If you want success in your business, the success must come from your heart and soul. They've got to feel that intent, right?
Exactly.
Because then they know that you're truly there to serve them.
Yep, I love that so much. I think when you make that shift too, you feel it. You feel your own
Mm.
energy change,
Yes,
and everything becomes not easier, but clear
yes.
on what the next best step is.
And you don't mind a bit of a struggle because you know
Right.
the outcome of it is going to be worth it.
Exactly. You
Yeah,
have to have that confidence and that
yeah.
hope, right?
You just got to learn something new. But once you've got it, you've got it. Thank God I've got it. Right? Don't
Thank
be,
God I've got it.
yeah, don't be, don't be too scared to learn something new because, again, we've got this thing where people say to, oh, no, you could never do that. Or who do you think you are? Or what makes you think, hey, come on. I do all the technical stuff on my site. I do all the technical stuff on the podcast. I do everything, right? I had to learn it. Now,
Right.
dyslexia, all these things that were learning barriers for me, and I had to push through and find a way to learn it. So that,
Yes.
and now it's just I can do it all in my sleep, right? So it's like be uncomfortable, find out, don't let your voice or anybody else's voice say you can't, because you don't know what you're capable of until you try.
Exactly. That is a big piece of it too, is I think so many of us have been told we're too
Yes.
big
Yeah.
sometimes as women, especially high achieving women. They've
Hmm.
got these ideas. And the second you allow yourself to hear, I am too big, you're
Mm.
going to completely deflate. And that's
Yeah.
really where the power of being surrounded by women who see you, feel you, and
Yeah.
say, you're not dreaming big enough. You can make
Yes.
this even bigger. And the
Yes.
second those conversations start happening, you're like, okay, I was called for more. And this is a great idea. And I can do it. And
Yeah.
I have the support.
Yes.
And it's like this beautiful ecosystem that
Hmm.
supports this next level growth. And I think that is so important too, is to not allow yourself to feel too big or sometimes too small, right? It could be too
Right.
small as well. You are just enough and you were created and you are here for a purpose, on purpose.
Yeah. You can be inspired by somebody and what they do, but don't compare yourself.
Yes,
Right? As soon as somebody starts comparing you to someone else, it may be a compliment that because they're feeling the same resonance from that.
right.
But do not copy someone. That's their success. That's who they are.
Yeah,
Instead, step into who you are and why and what it is that you do. And when you try to duplicate what somebody else is doing, it's fake because it's not you. But the inspiration of what someone does that you apply into your own perspective and now you've molded it into something that you love to do. Yeah,
yes.
inspiration begets invitation, absolutely. But remember to always be authentically unique you, because you are enough what your contribution is.
Right, exactly. I think that's a great point too. People said to me, Ashley, why do you want to speak on burnout? It's so oversaturated
Yeah,
because nobody can tell my story the way I tell my story.
exactly.
I can't tell your story the way you
No.
tell it, and we're all going to resonate and with different people and different messages.
And it's
And
your
so
catalyst to what you're doing now.
exactly,
And so
exactly.
everybody's burnout story is a catalyst to what they're doing now. And so what it is showing out of this burnout, out of these ashes. This
Yes.
is how I rose.
Yes,
Right?
I am reborn. I have
Hmm.
burned down this old blueprint
Yep.
and I can now see how to build sustainably
Yep.
with ambition and presence and all the things that go into coexisting to leave a legacy and to build something good.
Exactly. Exactly. And whether it's for a small group of people or for a large group of people, I when these podcasts go out there, I have no idea how many listen, who or how they're going to listen, what they're going to do with it. It's like, you're birthing the wisdom. It's going to go out there and do its own thing. So
Right.
don't try and control what the end result is. Just trust the process and why you're doing it and hope that it serves somebody out there in a way that really benefits all, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Just one person, just one
Yeah.
person. If I could help just one person, then my job is done, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Because that one person and then that one person and that one person, imagine if everybody on earth decided to help one person.
Exactly. We would be a completely different world.
And that's the world that we're being invited to right now. And
Yes,
we are all either the problem or the solution. And that's our choice. But when we
exactly.
decide to become the solution and we rise up to that higher frequency and we step into that love vibration, we have now transcended and shifted that energy to all that is beautifully possible.
Exactly. I love that so much. It just this energy that, and you feel it, it
Hmm.
radiates and you
Hmm.
know it. And
Yes.
others feel it. You don't even have to say much
No.
to be around, but people feel your energy even if you aren't really speaking. You know, it
Mhm.
just is, it's something you carry and it is this beautiful love energy. And the world needs more of it.
It's not about necessarily what you do. It's
Right.
who you are being in what you
Yes.
do. It's your
100%.
beingness. That's what it's your beingness that resonates what you do. But you as a being is what resonates first. Then they
Yes.
buy what you do, not what you do
Exactly.
to become being. No, the other way around.
Yep.
So, my dear, how do
Oh,
people get hold of you? Your
yes.
site, your Instagram, your LinkedIn, please give it us all.
The easiest way is to just go to gobundancewomen.com and you can fill out a little apply now or inquiry. It will take you directly to my calendar and so that we could get connected. You can find me on LinkedIn as well. And I can certainly give that to you, Sarah, to put in the comments or the
Yep.
chat.
Yep.
Um,
I'm going to original that out for the people listening. So GoBundance is GoBundance women.com. Instagram, Ashley Hughley, Huegi. And on LinkedIn, Ashley Hughley. And you can capture on all of these platforms. And to get the book, the link will be here, or you can actually go to her GoBundanceWomen.com and also kind of fill out there. I'd like the books and I'd like to have a further chat. Um, Everything that I do is to bring the people that are there to support other people and who they are and what
yes.
they're doing, right? Because
Yes.
when we say, I need guidance, I need help, and I feel this person, I resonate with this person. Now the door opens to that trust factor, that
Yes.
permission factor, and now
Yes.
this person's whatever they've got to help you will really be a good fit because you felt
Exactly.
them, and that's what
It-
it's about. So digest this podcast because we've shared a great deal here today. Let it sit with you, and then reach out and just have that conversation with Ashley. We've all been through burnout. Well, you might be in the ash stage right now, or you might be at the peak of just like feeling saturated, or you might be wanting to rise out of the ashes and become. We all need guidance and help along the way. We're not meant to do it alone,
no.
right?
Nope.
So
Gosh, well, thank you so much, Sarah, for having me. I'm so grateful.
it's been an absolute delight having you here today, love. Absolute delight. And, keep on doing what you're doing, keep on shining bright as you are. And for everybody out there, it's like when that cosmic 2x4 hits you and you think it's the end of the world, everything's come to an end. It could be a marriage, could be a job, could be a health crisis. All it is a redirect. So nurture
Exactly.
and cry over your loss. So, you know, grieve, right? You got to go through that
Yes.
process and then be willing to rise again in exploration and not dictation.
Yes. Absolutely.
Thank you so much for being here, love. I've truly enjoyed you being here today.
Oh, thank you so much, Sarah. I'll talk to you soon.
Most certainly. And to remember, to everyone else, we need you to be abundant. We need you to step into your beautiful glory and your flawsomeness and everything that you are, because you are part of the solution to what ails this world. Be the light. Be the light and shine bright for others along the way. Until next time, bye for now. We hope that you enjoyed the show. There are so many more for you to listen to right here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. Come and hear the illumination that's going to shed light on your path.
Find your path with the knowledge of others and become